Hello Yang Gang. I wanted to make a quick video addressing two questions that I see in the Yang Gang Facebook groups a lot. And joining me today is Zorro and Bodhi. Bodhi! That's Bodhi back there. So anyways, the first question is, I just joined the Yang Gang and I'm really excited about Andrew Yang. What do I do next? And the second question is, I can't afford to donate to the campaign, but I want to help out. I want to contribute in any way that I can. And so I have compiled a list of 10 ways that you can contribute to Andrew Yang's campaign for under $5. So I will just go through this list. I'm going to post any links that I say in the video. I'll post in the description so that you guys can reference that if you want to look further into one of the ideas. And we'll just get on with it. So the first thing that, if someone just joined the Yang Gang group, they want to know what to do next. The first thing that I would suggest is getting in touch with your local Yang Gang. So there is a Google Maps link that has plotted out a lot of the Yang Gangs in the nation. And that is how I found my local Yang Gang. If you get in touch with them, they probably already have events lined up that you can go to, that you can get involved with. And if there is not a local Yang Gang chamber, in your area, then maybe consider starting one. So that is the first, and I think the most important thing that you can do is to get involved at a local level, especially at this time in his campaign. And it's always fun to meet people in real life, that are just as passionate about Andrew Yang as you are. So that is number one. Number two is text banking. So recently the Yang campaign let us know that they are switching from phone banking to text banking. For whatever reason, they found that it's more effective, it's more affordable. And so I have phone banked about 3 times. I have yet to text bank, but I found this awesome Reddit thread on the Yang for President headquarters Reddit page. And it goes over everything that you need to know to get started with text banking. And, this doesn't cost any money. You need to have a phone plan, but other than that, it's free. And so that is another great way to donate your time and to volunteer and get involved. Number 3 is online banking. So I'm going to go to the website. I thought this was really cool, actually. So they have compiled a spreadsheet, and it's like a living spreadsheet. It's being added to all the time, of articles that either have to do with Andrew Yang or is in some way related to him, whether it's a policy or I don't know, something. And we would basically comment on the article and try to spread Andrew Yang's word. And just make sure that if you're doing this, to be civil. I think what attracts people to the Yang Gang is that we are accepting, we're civil, we don't attack people, we don't call people names, we are open-minded, we want to have a discussion, and we want to solve the problems. And so there are a lot of things on this website that kind of goes over what the goal is. Where was it? Okay. It says on the website, we are fighting against Russian tampering, voting machines, elected officials, online. Sorry, I'm reading this weird, so it's confusing. We are fighting against Russian tampering, mainstream media, and government agencies that have special interests. So in conclusion, we are trying to have discussions online with people. It says online influence works. Phone banking and text banking were well executed for the Bernie campaign in 2016. But that alone won't win it because a lot of people are online. And so with this, we're just trying to really if there's any misinformation about Yang or one of his policies, we're trying to get in there and comment and set the record straight. And that is another way that you can donate your time. So number 4 is something that I made up. It's called, I named it Twitter banking. And Twitter banking is basically goes something like this. It's very specific. So I go to twitter.com, or you can go on your app on your phone, and I search for Andrew Yang mentions. I don't go to his profile, I just search for mentions, and I'm doing this as I speak. So when you go to his mentions, you'll see like the top category, and it shows all of the popular posts that are happening right now that mention Andrew Yang. Scott Stanton's is right up there, first thing that I saw, no surprise. And then there's a latest, and the latest is the one that I like to engage on for a couple reasons. One is, if someone posted something literally 3 seconds ago and you reply to it, they're more likely to see it, right? And the other reason is, if you go to the latest, these people, a lot of these people like don't have a ton of followers. So if you engage with them and if you comment on their post, they're more likely to be excited and engage back. But I'm looking for a very specific person when I am doing this. I am looking for a person who is on the edge, who, you know, of course, as I go through and I see, you know, all the Yang gang supporting Andrew Yang and, you know, tweeting about him, I will like those just so I can support you all. But I'm more looking for this person. What's a good example? This is a good example. This is the type of person that I'm looking for. He's like right in between. I'm down with the concept of UBI if we shut down and reform the current welfare system. But as I look at it now, you're simply trying to promise something that you have no idea whether or not you can deliver, much like Trump's wall. So this is the type of person that I like, because he has already flirted with the idea of UBI. He's probably looked into it. He probably sees the value of it, but he has some reservations. And so this is the type of post that I would comment on and be like, hey, you know, I would try to answer his question as well as I could, but my end goal kind of is to direct them to one of his long form podcasts. Because I feel like after someone watches a long form interview where Yang is talking for like 2 or 3 hours, they are less bothered by like the little tiny things that they disagree with Yang on, because they see him as someone who's genuine. They see him as someone who is authentic, who's for the people. And so they're more on board with him as a person, and they're less likely to just nitpick like these small things that he said or done that like don't really reflect like how, you know, how he would how he is as a person. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling through this, but I hate editing videos and I really just want to get this done in one shot, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. And so that is someone who I would engage with for sure. I would direct them to the Joe Rogan podcast. I would say, hey, watch this. I would love to know your thoughts. If you have any questions or concerns, like I'm more than happy to be of assistance. What's an example? So someone who I would not engage with, like I would not even literally waste my time with, because they are not worth your time, guys, are people who just like call Yang a racial slur, or someone who, I don't know, it's just like you can tell the people who they're never gonna change their mind. And that is someone that you just don't want to waste your time with. Just move on. There's more open-minded people out there that we want kind of joining the movement. So here's an example of someone who I would not engage with, but it's kind of funny. Being popular with the Tide Pod eating generation is nothing to boast about, Andrew Yang. So that's someone who I'd be like, whatever, like move on. And also, it's so annoying how Gen X and baby boomers assume that literally anyone younger than them is a millennial. Like, we were not eating Tide Pods. Millennials were not eating Tide Pods. We're like 30 years old now, okay? Oh, here's another one I would engage with. Hey, Andrew Yang, I'm a Republican who doesn't like Trump but agrees with him on some things. I think the other Democratic candidates are way too radical. I like you and your style. Do you believe you're a little closer to traditional Democrats? Thanks. So that's someone that I would engage with. He seems like he's open-minded. He seems like he's willing to kind of look at things like issue by issue instead of like, well, is it coming from a Republican or is it coming from a Democrat? Like, he's willing to kind of like mix ideas, which I think is where we're headed anyways. So that is my version of Twitter banking. Moving on to number 5, Sidewalk chalk. You can go to Walmart, go to Amazon, and get some sidewalk chalk. I promise it's not going to be more than $5. Well, I guess depending on like what you get. But I just think this is fun. I think if you got like a friend and just wrote on, you know, in your neighborhood streets or out in the city streets, Google Andrew Yang, YouTube Andrew Yang. It's just, we're just trying at this point. I feel like a lot of people know who Andrew Yang is, but I feel like a lot of people don't know who Andrew Yang is. And so I'm trying to get people from like A to B. A being, I've never heard of Andrew Yang, to B being like, I have heard of Andrew Yang, but I don't know anything about him. So it's like, if we can just like put sidewalk art or stickers, which is number 6, places, handing out flyers, that type of thing, just getting people to like know his name at least is important at this stage. So, oh, also I found this really cool sidewalk or like spray paint chalk, and you have to be careful though, because there's spray paint chalk paint that people use to like redo their furniture, like paint their furniture, and that stuff does not come off sidewalks. But there's actual like sidewalk chalk that's spray paint sidewalk chalk that's washable, and I feel like people could get really creative with that. So I'll try to find that link and post it. Number 6 is stickers. There's 2 people who are giving away stickers for pretty much free, like next to nothing. I'll put those links below. One of them has a suggested donation, so yeah. Suggested donation for 25 stickers is $3. It's like so awesome and generous and affordable. I'll post those links below. And just handing out stickers, with Halloween coming up, you could hand out stickers in along with your candy. Putting stickers on, I don't know, poles or I've never really put stickers on stuff, but I live in like a very rural area. I feel like I would get in trouble for that. But if you're in like a city, I've seen it done, and so I'm sure that it's fine. Number 7, handing out flyers. I did this with my local Yang Gang on Saturday, and it was fun. Like, it was a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's always gonna be uncomfortable just approaching a total stranger. But we had 2 really good conversations, and to me, that makes it all worth it. And so if you go to yangprints.com, there are like hundreds of different files that you can print out, and people have just like uploaded this, which is awesome. My favorite one, if you want to know, is under the posters section. I click view all under the posters section, and there is one that says, hey, it's like red, hey, the 2020 election is coming, we should really not screw this one up. YouTube Andrew Yang. I thought it said Google Andrew Yang, but I guess it says YouTube. Either way, it's great. YouTube Andrew Yang. And this one I feel like just grabs people's attention. You can print more information on the back of that goes deeper into his policies and stuff like that. But go to Staples and print out like $3 or $5 worth of flyers and just start handing them out. And if you get in touch with your local Yang Gang and you have someone to do it with, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot less awkward. If you just approach people like human to human, you're not trying to be like super salesy or I don't know. I think anything helps at this point. So, number 8, and this one's just like small, fun, creative. I don't know how effective it is, but change your Wi-Fi or hotspot name to Google Andrew Yang. And this I feel like would work a lot better in apartments, if you live in an apartment, because everyone is really close together. And so when people come over and they're trying to like connect to other neighbors' Wi-Fi and they see that, they're like, oh, cool. It wouldn't necessarily work with me because, like I said, I live in a more suburban place. Everyone is kind of spread out. But that was just a fun, creative idea. Number 9 is if you've been a part of the Yang Gang for any amount of time, you've probably seen someone post a picture of their receipt with a $20.20 tip. So if you can do that, great. Your server will love you. If you can't, though, I did the math. And if your meal is under $16, you can pretty much just make the total of your meal $20.20, and then the tip can be the difference between, you know, the meal and the total amount. And so the total of the meal will be $20.20. You can write Yang 2020, Google Andrew Yang, go to yang2020.com, you know, whatever you think is gonna work. That's another way to do the 2020 tip without having to give a $20.20 tip for a meal that is relatively cheap. Obviously, if your meal is more expensive and a 2020 tip is appropriate, then do that. But it's just a cheaper way to do it. Okay, number 10, sharing videos with your close friends and family. This one kind of is like the most common sense one, but I feel like there's a way to do it that is really effective. And to me, I am genuinely interested in what my friends and family think of Andrew Yang, because if there are holes in his policies and if there are, you know, legitimate reservations, then I want to know about them. I feel like Yang is an open enough person, an open-minded enough person to take those into account. And when you approach people like, you know, when you approach someone in your family like, I'm genuinely interested in what you think about this, or I would love to know your thoughts on this, they're a lot more receptive to it, and they like that you're interested in what they have to say, you know, and you should be interested in what they have to say if they're your close friends or family. And so instead of just like bombarding people with links and, you know, videos every day and kind of shoving it down their throat, just try to approach it in a way that is conducive to like a actual conversation. And so far in my family, I think everyone is Yang Gang. Like, everyone who is of voting age is on the Yang yacht. And even my little brother who can't vote yet, he's so upset that he can't vote because he loves Andrew Yang so much. But both of my parents, my mom, she's bought like, well, she was gonna buy like 6 shot glasses, which was hilarious because she doesn't even drink. She got a couple shirts and a math hat. Like, she is total Yang Gang. My dad, he is Yang Gang to an extent. He's not necessarily going to change his like 50-year-old Republican voting registration to vote for Yang in the primaries. To, you know, he would have to change it to a Democrat to vote for him in the primaries. But he said that if it came between Yang and Trump, of course, 100% he would vote for Yang. So if we all kind of converted, as culty as that sounds, our close friends and family, the Yang Gang would explode. So that is it. I actually have one more honorable mention. I wouldn't necessarily endorse this idea, but I really love the creativity. So someone posted in the Yang Gang group, they said that they were at a okay, they said that they were at a crowded restaurant and they were airdropping something to their friend. And they noticed when they were airdropping this photo or whatever to their friend that all of these other people airdrop was on. And so what she did is she Googled like a flyer that said Google Andrew Yang, and she screenshotted it and then she airdropped it to everyone whose airdrop was on in the restaurant. So I don't know. I was like, of course someone in the Yang Gang would think of that. It was just hilarious to me. I can definitely see how people would be turned off by that. They might think it's kind of invasive. It kind of is, but I don't know. I had this done to me when I was at Disneyland, and I didn't think it was, I just thought it was funny. It was like a weird GIF. I didn't even know what was going on. But like I said, I wouldn't necessarily do this. But I love that the Yang Gang is, you guys are like some of the most creative people ever. And so it's just funny that they would even think to do that. If you guys have any other ideas, I would love to hear them. Please post in the comments below. But that's all I got for you. We'll see you later.